Katie, it's so good to meet you. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I've been actually so looking forward to your podcast. I've been following you for a little while and I was like, OMG, this is going to be such a fun day.
Totally. It is going to be a
Yeah.
fun day. And I've just been so deeply inspired, not only by your show, but your journey. And this is a journey I've seen through so many friends, so many patients, and that is addressing our skin, addressing acne that shows up, especially chronic acne or acne that pops up, especially after you think you're like, I went through puberty. And I get that like midlife is a second puberty.
Yeah.
And I'd love for you to just share a little bit about, what was that defining moment for you where you knew you wanted to serve women in this way, or even people, but I'm sure women are a big part of your audience.
Absolutely. So for me, like I had pretty clear skin through high school, but I'd been on the birth control pill at 14. Like I didn't need the pill. I had normal periods, skin was fine, wasn't having sex. I just took it because all my girlfriends did. So it's no wonder why my skin was probably pretty clear throughout high school. And then in my early 20s, I decided to switch from the pill to an IUD because my best friend was like, oh my gosh, you need to get the IUD. You don't have to remember to take a pill every day. It's so much easier. And I was like, oh, sign me up. So I went and I switched from the birth control pill to a hormonal IUD. And this is really when my skin started to like take a turn. I remember waking up one day about a month into the IUD and staring in the mirror and being like, what is this braille like texture on my like forehead and my temples and my cheeks and sides of my, like, what is happening here? And I was actually working in television at the time. So I'm about 20 years old. I'm just graduating university and I'm working for Hockey Night in Canada. So for any Americans out there, that is our version of Sunday Night Football. It is one of the biggest national broadcasts in the country. So I'm working with celebrities, NHL players, TV executives, NHL player alumni, and I so badly wanted to be taken seriously in my role because I'm a newly graduated 21-year-old woman, and I felt like people were just seeing my breakouts and not seeing me. At the same time, I was actually also working on a lifestyle show as a videographer and location host. So my face was on an HD camera every single day. And then I was going back to an edit suite and editing my face for hours on end. And I started obsessing over my skin because it was taking over my life. And I was now self-conscious. My self-esteem was plummeting. And this is where I'm like, okay, I'm going back on the pill because something is going on here. And I went to my doctor and I said, hey, I think switching around my birth control messed with my skin. And she was like, nope, there's no way changing your birth control pill mess with your skin. I was like, I beg to differ. Like this has never been an issue. Take the IUD out and put me back on another pill. So she puts me back on a different hormonal birth control pill than I was on before. And looking back, we can now see how my poor hormones are just being sent on like a joyride all over the place. This is where things got even worse. So now I'm dealing with chronic cystic post-pill acne, or so I should say chronic cystic acne. And I'm getting these cystic spots on my cheeks, my jawline, my chin, the tops of my shoulders, the backs of my arms, my chest. So now I was having to dictate not only how much TV makeup I was wearing every day, but also the outfits that I was wearing. I couldn't wear backless dresses. I couldn't wear a low-cut shirt. Like I really had to put a lot of effort into this. And so when I'm working in television, I actually got assigned to work on a gluten-free cooking show. I never heard of gluten in my life, like never. This was 2011. And I ended up discovering I was celiac through working on this show. And I took gluten out. My lifelong migraines went away. I started to play around with removing dairy. My stomach aches went away. My skin started to look less inflamed. So when I went back to school to study nutrition, because I really fell in love with the power of food on the body, and in my very first nutrition textbook, there was this paragraph on how the birth control impacts your body and how it can lead to acne. And nobody had ever told me this before. It was just like this biggest aha moment when I was like, wait, what do you mean the birth control pill impacts how I'm feeling and how I look and all of these things? So that's when I really began to obsess over all things internal acne clearing because I knew the impact it was having on my self-esteem and my confidence and my ability to show up in the world because I, didn't want to show my face at work. I would part my hair a certain way. I didn't want to be intimate with my then boyfriend, now husband, because I didn't feel beautiful or sexy in my body. So when I realized that this could be fixed through taking inside out approach and I did fix my skin, I knew I wanted to help as many women as possible clear up their own skin because for me, it's not just about the clear skin, it's about the confidence that you get back when you have clear skin. And I truly believe that when women are confident and feel empowered in their body and their health, they can do amazing things in the world.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think that when women are at their fullest like vitality and potential. Not only are we changing our families, we're changing communities and we're changing the world. I think, that's really what it comes down to. And I am so sorry. Gosh, what a journey. No one, so many things about hormonal birth control pills that we don't tell, especially our younger girls,
Mhm.
about that it's shifting our microbiome, that it is changing our brain, that it is you depleting of nutrients. And again, it's a yes and. I'm a
Yes,
big
and
proponent of informed consent.
agreed.
Like,
Same.
let me know what I am signing up for outside of, it being contraception. And when I was growing up, gosh, when I was in high school, it was the 90s. It was the mid to late 90s. And at the time, like birth control pills were all over the magazines and all over. And I remember it was the fix all, it was the catch all for
Everybody had a
everything. Yes. It was a bad boyfriend, take the birth control
take
pill,
the yeah.
right?
It's the solution.
Acne, it was a lot marketed for acne. I
Mhm.
remember girls getting on birth control just for acne. That was kind of a marketing tool. And then it depended on the girl. Like sometimes maybe it cleared it up, but oftentimes maybe it made it worse. And so I'm so grateful that, you kind of come full circle. Like, and, learning that information in your nutrition class, I'm sure floored you.
Floored me. I was like, wait, what? What do you what do you mean?
Well, and your
Just like you
doctor,
said.
she didn't know. She really
She
just didn't know. And
no,
not to say that I'm sure you weren't the only one coming in with the same
no.
symptoms.
No, and I didn't even have a symptom. I literally remember walking in because all my girlfriends took it. Like I wasn't having sex, fine periods, fine skin, and saying, I just want to take the pill. She's like, okay, she literally said, I'll be right back. She went out. This was probably 2003, came back in with a stack of 6 boxes, said, here you go. I'll see you in 6 months, and left. And that was the entirety
Well,
of the
and
conversation.
I meant symptoms from it.
Oh,
Symptoms from it.
could you
Like
imagine?
you're telling me you were not the only one coming into the office, to the exam room, and
Oh, yeah.
hey, this is causing me acne. Like she hadn't heard that before. You know what I'm saying? She hadn't
Exactly.
heard that the birth control wasn't doing all
I feel
kinds of things to
crazy.
girls. Yeah.
Yeah.
A stat I don't know if you know, but 50% of women, once they start the birth control pill, will get off within the first year because of
I
symptoms.
didn't know that stat. That's incredible. I wish I did.
I barely made it a year. The
Oh,
first
really? I was on it for a decade. Looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I do to my poor body?
Yeah, especially if it wasn't anyway for contraception. Again, I'm so grateful that we have
Yes.
contraception options
Access.
that allow women to pursue their dreams, go through college,
For sure.
go to grad school, do all the things. What a blessing. And it's always so deeply important to have informed consent.
Agree. And you want to know what? Had someone told me back at 14, hey, these are the list of symptoms, I feel like I didn't have the maturity level to say, oh, actually, never mind. I probably would have been like, nah, it's okay. Just give it to me anyways. So I think it's like, it's hard, right? Because you can see both sides of the spectrum for birth control. But when you really start to understand how it impacts your body, I think you do start to be like, oh, okay, well, maybe I should think about this.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's so interesting. The reason why I'm kind of highlighting this part of the conversation is that in our second puberty, it's the
Mhm.
catch-all again. It's the no. And again, there are incidences where I do think that it can be supportive. For instance, if I have a woman who comes to me with severe heavy bleeding and flooding in peri, and we cannot get under control with oral micronized progesterone because often
Mhm.
it isn't getting under control, then that is that is a viable option. That is not a surgical option, right? And
Right.
so the other thing too is PMDD
Mhm.
it can be helpful with a pill. So again, there are instances where it can be supportive, particularly in perimenopause, but I've had a lot of women go on the pill in perimenopause and then get acne, worse
Mhm.
mood swings, worse sleep issues. And it only addressed really the menstrual cycle irregularities because it completely took the hormones offline, but it
Mhm.
didn't address all of the rest of the symptoms of perimenopause that were really causing not only a disrupted life, but also lower quality of life
Mhm.
for women. So women find themselves in a situation where like, man, this barely solved any of my problems.
Mhm.
And, is this it? And it's
Mhm.
causing all these other issues too.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about what you're seeing. I know you have, I mean, I'm sure, I have friends who have girls that are in high school, in college, because yes, I am that old, that are struggling with acne issues. But also I have friends in their 30s and their 40s who it's kind of a resurgence, or maybe
Mhm.
they never really got it under control. And so I'd love to speak into, kind of what are some of the more common ages that you see women struggling with acne? And then let's get into some of those root
Mhm.
causes.
Yeah, you wanna know what? I think it's a really big common misconception that acne is a teenage issue, when in fact that it's not, because we have clients kind of in 2 kind of schools, or I guess realms. There's client A, where they've had acne since they were 12. They are 45 now, and they're like, "I have been dealing with this for 35 years, and I was always told as a teen, 'Oh, when you get older, you'll grow out of it.'" Well, when am I gonna grow out of it? I'm 45, I'm gonna be going into menopause, like, this isn't making sense. Then we have that other group in group B where they grew into acne. They had clear skin in their teens and maybe in their early 20s. Maybe they started to develop it when they're around 21 or 28, or sometimes we have clients developing it in their 30s after coming off of the birth control for 20 years, after having a family and having kids, and now they're starting to see a resurgence in their 30s. And then we also have clients coming to us in their 40s, like, "Oh my gosh, I started going through perimenopause and my skin is freaking out." So we truly see it in almost every decade of life for women, from their teens all the way up to their 40s and sometimes in their 50s and 60s.
Mm, mm. I can imagine that is nobody wants that, right?
Nobody.
Nobody. And so I'd love to talk. I mean, I know that, gosh, I've seen friends, just struggling to find a solution,
Mhm.
trying to figure out what's going on. And to me, it's always seemed like an inside out approach, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's like acne sufferers don't have acne for lack of trying. They are literally trying all of the things. It's like they are almost overdoing it with the things. They are applying all of the serums. They're adding to cart all of the supplements, the period gummies. This influencer recommended this gadget. They're doing it all and they can't figure out why they still are struggling with their skin. And it really comes down to what we call the 5 acne clearing pillars. I don't care what your main root cause is. When you come to work with us, there were 5 pillars we are working on with you. I'll do a quick overview. It's gut detoxification, hormonal balance, emotional well-being, and nourishing skincare. Client A, sure, might be a little more gut heavy and a little more less hormonal heavy. And then the next client might be a little more detoxification heavy and a little less gut heavy. We have worked with over 3,000 women across the world, and we have not seen a single woman out of those thousands have the exact same combination of imbalances in the body. So it's not like there's one root cause for acne. It's like, oh, everybody needs to take a probiotic and DIM and it's going to solve all your issues. We are all so unique. And the reason we are dealing with the symptom of acne is going to be unique to your body.
Mm. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. And so I'm curious, how do you kind of tease that out? Because I think when I think about that list,
Mhm.
I think that I don't know anyone who doesn't need to optimize their gut microbiome, their detox pathways, their hormones, reducing inflammation, balancing blood glucose. I'm
Mm.
curious how many of your women have polycystic ovarian syndrome?
We do have a fair percentage. I would say about maybe 10 to 15 come in with a PCOS diagnosis. And I would say out of that 15%, I would say only 10% truly ended up having a PCOS diagnosis where they were actually misdiagnosed or they were self-diagnosed. And it wasn't that they had PCOS, it was that their blood sugar, they had horrible blood sugar instability. They had mineral depletions, they had metabolic issues. And when we worked on fixing those issues, it's like, oh, no, you actually don't have PCOS. We just needed to fix these things.
Yeah, I mean, well, that is the root cause of PCOS right
Yeah.
there. So
Mhm.
PCOS I think of it as everything is a gradient there's
Exactly.
not like a black and white. I think of everything kind of being on a spectrum.
Mhm.
There's a lot of women who are probably close to polycystic ovarian syndrome,
Right.
but they don't have the full, all of
Gamut.
the things for the assets for that diagnosis. And yet we see the metabolic dysfunction, we see the insulin resistance, we see the
Mhm.
blood glucose deregulation, and maybe it hasn't completely manifested into polycystic ovarian syndrome. And
Right.
so it's no surprise when you start to clean those things up that all of that begin to reverse.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. I was
Mhm.
just curious because I think of so many of my patients over the years with polycystic ovarian syndrome having acne as a result,
Huge.
of androgens that are
Mhm.
exacerbating. So I was just curious
Exactly.
about that. So curious, I know that it's a 5-step process,
Mhm.
but of those 5 steps, and I guess there's a way of kind of identifying for each
Mhm.
and every person what's going on with them. But have you found there being of those 5, like one of the bigger, like where do you start first if you kind of had a general sense of things for somebody?
For sure. So when our clients first come in, we actually work with functional medicine testing. So every client that comes in, we run a hair trace mineral analysis to really get a look at like where are those imbalances in the body. We use that alongside their set of symptoms because we want to be working with the person, not working off of their test results. So we work with their labs, their symptoms, and also we use traditional Chinese medicine face mapping. So we use these three things together to say, okay, where are these imbalances lying? While we're waiting for their test results to come back, the first things we work on with our clients is going to be digestion, blood sugar, and stress. These are going to be giving us the biggest shifts in our body. And I should preface this by saying we're always going to see shifts in the skin last because it's almost like your body's like, I don't care about your acne. I want to be absorbing my nutrients. I want to be having a normal period. I want to be doing all this other stuff. I want to be in rest and digest. So it's focused on that. So we can start to see really big gains in our health from making sure we're optimizing digestion, because you could be eating the best diet in the world. If you're not breaking your food down and absorbing them, you're not getting all of the wonderful nutrients that our body needs to function, that our liver needs to function, our gut needs to repair, our skin needs to be rebuilt with. And if we're not digesting properly and the food is sitting too long in our gut, it's going to putrefy, ferment, and provide this like perfect little buffet for all of the bad bacteria and yeast in your gut that's going to allow them to overgrow, proliferate, and cause inflammation in your body, leading to acne. And if we're also not digesting, this is where we're seeing bathroom issues like diarrhea and constipation. And if we're looking at constipation, this is such a huge thing for acne sufferers, because if we're not excreting our stool every single day, then the waste, the toxins, the excess estrogens that we're trying to get out of the body start to reabsorb and go back into circulation. And so now we're dealing with higher levels of toxicity, higher levels of inflammation, and higher levels of estrogen in the body because we aren't having daily bowel movements. So this is why digestion is so super critical when we come in, because it's opening up those pathways and allowing us to get rid of things, but also absorb the things that we need. And then when we're looking at our blood sugar is so important. As you know, working with your perimenopause women, we want to be having really beautiful blood sugar, because when it is sent on a roller coaster ride, it will lead to a domino effect of increasing sebum production in your skin, which clogs your pores, leads to breakouts. So making sure we're loving up that blood sugar. And then also the stress response, where again, cortisol, we're going to be clogging the pores and leading to more breakouts as well. So we want to be working on that stress reduction, because if your body is stuck in fight or flight, it is not going to be able to self-heal and start to release and feel safe enough to allow our body to function properly.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I'm so grateful that you're focusing on the blood sugar aspect. I'll never forget when I realized that blood sugar or irregular, deregulated blood sugar drove acne. I had a fellow doctor in my practice, and every day we would go and get a coffee at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Girl, I was trying to get on a blood sugar roller coaster in the afternoon.
Give me the extra blood sugar issues.
At the time, we just didn't know. This was like 2009. But what we noticed, that there was a brand new French bakery that had opened, this amazing, and they were giving out samples like for a month. So we'd come from the coffee place, we'd get like a sample.
Yep.
And I remember like it didn't show up on my skin per se. It showed up on my booty and everywhere else. Like I was putting on the weight. But for my co-doctor, she was breaking out all around her chin, but basically below the mouth. And she started to notice, she's like, I think that there's this connection. And so we decided we weren't loving the results of this, of this afternoon little like sugar break that we were doing. And so we did a 30-day sugar detox. So all processed sugar, all added sugar, it was out for 30 days. And this was my first ever detox that I'd ever done. And what was so cool, one, you don't even realize how addicted to sugar you are, how addicted to this roller coaster you are. And we're going to get into stress and kind of that stress response system in a second. But within like 7 days, I would say 7 to 10, her acne cleared.
Incredible.
And I mean, mind you, I'm sure there were other things that we could work on as well, but I was just mind blown because we didn't know. You have this like hypothesis, like, oh, maybe sugar's doing, and you're kind of hoping it's not.
I know.
There's a part of
I want that coffee. I want the croissant.
And it was I think it was definitely they were like, oh my God, it was amazing how many little, like they were like mini cheesecakes. We're talking like serious sugar.
Delicious. Yeah.
But it was, gosh, it was send me a sign, make it impossible for me to miss. And it was 100% sugar. And I remember after we had finished this detox, it's interesting how it creeps back in.
Mhm.
And so for her, it did a little bit. And the acne came back so quickly. And so
Wow.
I'm glad that you're addressing that because again, it's not that I'm not saying that it is the root cause. We know that there are so many root causes here, but it can be a big one for a lot of
Huge.
women. Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't realize it. And I think when we think about blood sugar, we automatically think, oh, that's just people that are diabetic. Like, I don't need to
Yeah.
worry about my blood sugar. And it's like, no, like we need stable blood sugar for health and general functioning of our body. And then I also think people have that connotation where blood sugar only has to deal with eat too much candy. It's like, oh, I just don't, it's like the candy and the chocolate, but we don't
Or liquid
realize that
sugar.
liquid sugar, like the sodas, whatever it may be, but we don't realize that it can also be refined carbohydrates from the bagel that we're getting at the coffee shop every morning, from that donut, from the cereal, from whatever it may
The
be.
crackers,
The crackers, yeah,
the
the white
chips,
pasta,
the
the chips.
Siete chips. I
Yeah.
mean, like the things that you don't think about, are can be really driving it. It is such a well, and just because it's where kind of my area of focus,
Mhm.
particularly for women in midlife, we know that by the age of 45, 93% of women will have at least one biomarker of metabolic issues and are struggling with insulin resistance. And more of us than men will be overweight or obese at 45. And
Yeah.
so, this is very much the conversation. If we can get in front of the blood sugar aspect of things, and we know that deregulated blood sugar is having a profound impact on our microbiome too. So it's all playing a role. And then you've got the stress part, which it's like you're eating a cupcake, but girl, there's no cupcake.
I know.
I know. So I would love to talk a little bit about the stress part because you did speak into the confidence.
Mhm.
I think that sometimes we can find ourselves in a shame spiral,
For sure.
where we're so unhappy what's happening with our skin or what's happening with our because most likely it's not just the acne, right? There's other things that are happening
There's
to
always
it.
others.
It's not just
Mhm.
acne, that it's nothing's operating in a silo. And what I love about your protocol is that man, I bet there's so many side benefits. Like all of a sudden when we're like,
Huge.
oh my gosh, I'm not even having a hot flash, or oh my goodness, my
Yeah.
energy is back. I'm not having crazy cravings. I don't feel like I'm completely falling off a cliff, hangry at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Like I think about all the benefits that women are getting from cleaning up their detox pathways, their gut, their blood sugar. I mean, that is like the trifecta right there. And then managing their stress. But I would think that when we're in this spiral, it is shameful. We are dealing with more stress. We are feeling triggered by the
Mhm.
constant, we're finding ourselves in a spiral. And
For
so I'd
sure.
love for you to talk a little bit about the stress aspect of things and how that is shifting everything, but also shifting our mindset.
Yeah, the stress, like I'm sure as you see in your own practice, is stress and mindset and emotional well-being is the most overlooked component of healing out there. And I can say this with certainty, at least in our clinic, is that whenever we run like a webinar or masterclass, we'll get like, 500, 600 registrants for any other topic, a few hundred show up live. Then when we run one for emotional well-being and mindset, we'll get like 150 register, maybe 20 show up. And I'm like, this just goes to show how little people value the impact of stress and mindset on your health and wellness. Not even skin related, but your actual health. And we don't realize like stress is that silent killer.
I know.
Stress is impacting really at the core root of acne or most diseases is stress in the body. There is a stressor happening that we need to fix. And when we are constantly living in this state of fight or flight with this modern lifestyle that we live, where we are running out the door, we're not feeding ourselves in the morning, whether you're trying to get your kids out to school, you're late for work, then you're answering Slack
Sounds
messages
like
and
my day.
yeah, you're like, wait, are you living with me?
I'm
It sounds
like,
like
are
my
you,
day. Yeah.
Katie, are you living in my house, girl?
I do have a camera in your house. I'm watching all of the women listening because they're like, that is my day.
That sounds like
I'm
my day.
surviving off of caffeine and then I'm getting in the car. I'm doing all of my errands. I'm saying yes to everything in the day. It's like, oh, yeah, my house is on fire, but I can do the bake sale. No problem.
Oh
You
my
don't
gosh, yes.
realize like how much we say yes to in a day. And what I find so fascinating is we have so many women coming in saying, oh, I'm not stressed. No, I have no stress. I feel fine. But when we get their labs back, we're like, your body is telling a different story here. You may not feel stressed because you are so used to living in a chronic state of fight or flight that you don't even recognize anymore because you're just running on fumes.
Amen to all of that. And,
Mhm.
and I think the other thing too is that we think we can, if we can just survive the day,
Just get through the
if I
day.
can just, let
Tomorrow
me
will
just
be
get through
better.
the day and let me just get through tomorrow,
Yeah,
and so I think that's a lot of the mindset. And I think also a lot of us were brought up of like, you know what, you can do hard things. You know,
exactly.
I think we can all do hard things, but man, too many hard things all the time, you're going to hit a wall. And so I think there's a lot of narrative around, oh, it's your fault. Number one, you can tough through this. Number two, like no complaining. You can just do it. And also, I think a lot of us also feel that maybe there's nothing we can do about the stress in our lives. Maybe we're thinking, well, I can't give up my kids.
Yeah, you
they're
can't
gonna
give them
go
back.
nowhere.
There's no return policy.
There's no, not at all.
No.
I can't give up this job, and so I think they're thinking there's a lot of things that I can't really move over,
For sure.
if this is just kind of what I'm dealing with, and I think we get used to tolerating that is kind of level of stressfulness.
Yes.
So when you're working with women who probably are kind of giving you some of those answers,
Yeah.
how are you guys approaching supporting women to kind of help them, like nudge them in the direction of, less like curating more time for themselves or more mindfulness practices to kind of buffer them?
Yeah, and you want to know, I get it. I'm a working mom. I have 2 little boys, and I think 99% of they're so sweet but so busy, so busy.
Boys are boys, girl. Boys are boys. How old are your boys? I'm just curious.
8.5 and 3.5.
Oh my, woo.
Yeah.
I have a 4.5-year-old. I just got one.
Yeah, I feel you, like, right?
With the vibe right now.
Energy, that 4.5-year-old. Oh my goodness, boys.
But the autonomy.
Isn't it crazy?
A lot of, like, he's such a contrarian. Everything, everything we say, nope. Or, it's just, I'm like, goodness.
They really help you grow as a person, don't they?
I didn't know we were going to get out the door today. I was like, I'm not sure if it's going to happen.
No, you're like, your shoes are on backwards. And like, I don't.
He was just like, I don't want to go.
Oh, straight up.
Oh no, they was straight up. Like, I'm going to stay here in the living room and I am going to play all day. That's what I'm going to do.
Oh yeah. You got everyone on your
head. Yeah. He was,
oh my God.
It was a vibe this morning and he was like, so y'all figure it out.
See you later. Bye. I'll be here. And that's the thing, right? Is you can't give your kids back. So we got to figure it out because it's not like we can just quit life and go and sell coconuts on a beach somewhere. We have to be
lovely.
Wouldn't it though?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
But we have to be realistic. We have jobs, we have responsibilities, kids, family members, pets, things that we can't get rid of. So it's not like we are expecting you to go and, go on a 2-week retreat at some like monk monastery. We need to be helping to teach you lifestyle habits that can help you cope with the stressors in your life better, because they're not going anywhere. So we really work heavily with lifestyle habits and mindset. So when we're looking at our calendar, where can we fit in some me time? Because I think especially as moms or caregivers of any sort, we're always filling everybody else's cup up. And we think it is selfish for self-care and time for ourselves, because it's like, oh my gosh, if I'm not folding the laundry until 10 p.m. every night, I'm not being a good mom. I'm not being a good partner.
Or just a productive woman.
A productive woman in general.
God forbid someone catch me not being productive.
Could you imagine? Like the audacity. If you sat down and drink a hot tea in silence for 10 minutes. Like,
if I'm sitting, I'm folding laundry. Just like
I'm folding laundry, responding to emails.
Recently, that like downtime and how like women's downtime is. Like downtime is you listening to a book, but you're unloading the dishwasher. Downtime is you taking a moment for yourself, but you're cleaning up the house. Like there's, or you're responding to emails here or your Slack here.
That's it.
This is downtime. And I was like, oh my God, my husband said this to me and he's like, they nailed you.
Yeah, this is you in a nutshell. I feel like it's that culture that we grew up in, right? Where it's like women can't complain, women have to be productive. And it's like, oh, if you want to be, you're a mom, so you have to take on all of this thing. You're a caregiver, you're taking on all this while you're doing a full-time job. And it becomes so overwhelming. So how can we start to build habits into your life that help you with that? So is it that instead of scrolling on social media until midnight, we're actually putting our phone down in the kitchen when we go to bed and we're giving ourselves that hour before bed to wind down? Is it that you are saying, you want to know what? Like, this is something I've been doing just recently.
I want to know.
Like if I leave the house to go on a walk and I don't bring a dog or a child with me, I feel guilty because I'm like, oh, I should be walking the dogs extra. I should be taking my kids out with me. Just this past probably 2 weeks, I've been going on a walk by myself with just music. I was like, am I on a retreat right now? Like I felt guilty the first few days because it's like I didn't take something with me. But then I realized how much happier I've been and how much less stressed I've been because I go on a 30-minute walk without my children or dogs. And it's just totally helped to reset my nervous system. And another thing that I do for myself is I've gotten really good at setting boundaries. This was a learned skill because I'm a people pleaser. I am like, yes, absolutely, I'll do it all. And I started to ask myself the question of, if by saying yes to somebody else, am I saying no to me? And I asked that question every time. And in the beginning, it was hard to say no, but I've developed a way of saying, hey, you want to, thank you so much for asking and thinking of me to do that. Like, I love that you asked me that. I'm just really maxed out with what I'm doing right now. And I want to be able to give my full attention and energy to that thing you asked me to do. So would you mind if like maybe you circled back in a few weeks or a few months just and see if I could help out then? When I phrase it like that, I feel like people are like, oh yeah, absolutely. No problem. So it's not like you're just like saying no altogether, even though it's a complete sentence. It's setting those boundaries and allowing yourself the space in your day to take some time for you.
I love that. And even if that makes you uncomfortable, something that I tried, like that response is if someone, because you always, I think we're very programmed to say yes, and to sign ourselves up for things that we never wanted to do, or maybe even it does sound great, but we just don't have the bandwidth. And so I will say of like, oh my God, same thing. I love this opportunity. This is incredible. Can I sit with it for a couple of days and get back to you? Just so you have time. Cause I think we're so quick to react, that the follow-up is so quick as well. And it doesn't have to be that you don't have to follow up and it, be the thing that you need to respond to immediately. Exactly. I will say that solo walks, oh my gosh, they're the best thing ever. I was talking to a group of moms, I want to say last fall, and we were talking about things that we do as moms. And I was selling solo walks, and they looked at me like I had I was an alien or something was on my head. And I was like, because I could tell they were really grappling with the idea of like alone time. Like,
what do you mean there's no stroller with me?
Like, and I was like,
getting snacks for my kids and breaking up a fight.
Yeah. I was like, go solo walk.
Yeah.
And it was so foreign. And I was like, it is the best thing. Actually, I think I have an hour break between our interview and another one. And I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take my phone because I listen to my audio.
Same.
I have music. I have a dark romantic fantasy that I'm listening to right now.
What are we listening to? I am a book talk girl. Like,
oh my goodness, let me show you. Let me find.
I need to know.
It is Us Dark View. Have you heard of it? Us Dark View.
I think it's on my Goodreads to read list.
By Alexis. I'm barely in. in. And so I'm reading The Lost Bookshop. Oh,
I haven't heard of that one.
More of a good feel good kind
of
book.
This isn't a trigger warning list.
One of the best dark fantasies out right now. So I'm excited to. So I'm diving in.
I'm going to start it next. I'm finishing up my latest dark romance. What is it? That one. I just started it yesterday. I'm a fast reader. Gosh, what is it?
Me too.
Oh, no, I just started reading Caught Up by Nevessa Allen, the second one in the Lights Out series.
Oh, yeah. Caught Up. Yes.
Yes, I know. I read really quick, so I got to remember what book I'm on. I'm on like book 75 of the year.
Ditto. Oh my goodness, we could be besties.
We can be book besties.
I have not, that book is in my Audible. I haven't started it. I know so many women love it. The Lights Out book. But I know book 2 just dropped. As well. So but we're leaving for Hawaii in a couple of days. And so I've got my books.
You got your books.
I got real books, girl. Real books. Yeah, real books. And then I've got my audiobooks as well, already locked and loaded. So, but I love to go walk to the ocean, listen to a book. It is such a beautiful moment. And I love getting caught up. I know that we've digressed, but these ideas around self-care and me time, I think are so mission critical. I want to steer us back, obviously, to acne, because I bet I might know someone listening to this. Like,
we could go on books forever.
Obviously, you guys work with Katie is what you do. You go and work with her. Is there skincare and spot treatments that, I don't know, where do you land on that? Because I mean, that was the thing when I was growing up.
Pads, St. Ives scrub, right? Like back in that era. And people ask us this is, okay, well, if I'm working internally, do I just forgo my skincare routine? And it's like, no. We want to have a skincare routine, but we want to have a nourishing skincare routine, because what we see with acne sufferers is they have the more is more mentality. It's like more scrubs, more acids, more benzoyl peroxide, more alcohols, more tretinoin, more medicated topicals. And what we don't realize is this is actually destroying our skin barrier and our skin's microbiome. And we have to remember these are two protective functions of our skin, where our barrier is this protective mechanism that helps to keep, the hydration and the good stuff in, and it keeps out the pollution, the bad stuff, and it's allowing our skin to stay really healthy. When our skin barrier gets disrupted, we are now dealing with inflammation, redness, irritation, sensitized skin. So we're reacting to more products, we're more prone to breakouts. And it's because we have a disrupted skin barrier. And then also, if we're dealing with a disruption in our skin's microbiome, this is going to, again, lead to inflammation and higher likelihood of breakouts. So we want to be nourishing our skin with gentle things. So let's pull back from all of the harsh ingredients and harsh topicals and just set a foundation. Like, I'm a skincare girly. Like, give me a 12-step skincare routine, I'll do it. But you don't need that for healthy skin. As long as we're having a nourishing cleanser, and if you are somebody that wears makeup or SPF every day, which I hope we're wearing SPF every day on our face, are we doing a double cleanse at night? So are we using an oil-based cleanser or micellar water to be breaking down the whatever we've put on our face, and then going in with a gentle water-based cleanser to be really thoroughly cleaning the day off of our skin? In the morning, you just need the one cleanser. Then do we have some type of serum that we could be using? And ingredients I want you to consider would be a ceramide. This is very healing to the skin barrier. Fermented ingredients that are going to be great for the microbiome of your skin. Are we looking at niacinamide, green tea extracts, aloe? All of these ingredients can be so great in a serum, because the serum is what is acting as a treatment to your skin. So I always say that if you're going to spend money on anything in your skincare routine, let it be a serum, because you're actually paying for the science and the technology behind the serum, because a medical grade serum will have a better delivery system that will penetrate deeper into the skin. Then finishing it up with some type of hydration, because a lot of acne sufferers think, oh, if you have acne, you can't wear moisturizer, you can't hydrate your skin, which we don't want to be having that thought process, because if we're dealing with dehydrated skin and we're avoiding it, or we're dealing with oily skin and we're like, oh, hey, let's not put a cream on, what we're actually signaling is like the skin's like, oh man, like I got to increase the sebum production here. Let's build this up to keep it supple and hydrated. So by in fact using a nourishing, non-comedogenic moisturizer can be really great for helping to repair your skin and provide the hydration that it needs.
And would that be a hydrating moisturizer? Is that what you're saying? Versus
Yeah,
like a hydrating
it'll be different based on the
serum?
person. And I think it's different based on not only your skin, but the climate that you live in. So I live here in Canada, about an hour outside of Toronto, and we have very dry winters because it's very cold. We have heating on. So I find for my skin in the winter, I need a bit of a thicker, heavier moisturizer. But in the summertime, because it's very humid here, it's actually 44 degrees today, or 111 with the humidex. So I'm going to be wearing a much lighter moisturizer on my skin. It's going to be dependent on the individual.
Okay. Good. Okay. So just a heads up that skincare is still the part of the equation. It's just a different approach to what you've probably been doing. And do you recommend things like, even like I've used probiotic serums So just kind of finding something that's going to be nourishing your skin and obviously isn't causing, if you find something that's not working, stop using it.
Yeah. And also we want to be looking at avoiding endocrine disruptors in our skincare products, because many acne products that are formulated for acne sufferers have endocrine disruptors. And these actually mimic hormones in our body. So if we are trying to balance our hormones and do all of this good stuff, yet we're just mimicking hormones, we're basically pouring fuel on the fire. So learning how to read your labels and starting to look for clean beauty options. It's not like you need to be 100% all natural, organic, all of that. Cleaner beauty options that don't have phthalates and parabens and fragrances that are going to be loving up your skin versus kind of fighting against it.
That makes so much sense. So being really mindful about the type of skincare you're using. Absolutely. Yeah. And one of the things you had mentioned that I see a lot in my peri women and also in my women in their 30s is that increase in estrogen dominance for a number of reasons. One, I feel like the relationship between stress and progesterone is very clear in terms of there's something about the amount of stress we're dealing with that has a profound impact on our ovulation and ultimately on our progesterone levels. And as a result, we do see that increase in estrogen dominance. But then also, again, if you're constipated or you don't have a really healthy gut microbiome, so your estrobolome is affected or your detox pathways are not properly functioning, we will see again spillover for estrogen metabolites. Can you talk a little bit about that? Is that a connection that you're seeing as well?
Yeah. I'm so glad you brought that up, because when women come in, they're like, I have hormonal acne. We say, yes, and you have hormonal acne, and we need to think of this as the acne clearing house. The foundation is going to be our gut. The walls are going to be our detox organs, and the roof is going to be our hormones. We cannot put a roof on without walls or foundation because the hormones are going to come crashing down. There's nothing to hold it up. And the reason we have to pull this back and say, okay, let's start at that foundation, because like you mentioned, in our gut is a home to a unique subset of microbes of the estrobolome, which is responsible for regulating, metabolizing estrogen. If your gut microbiome is struggling, your estrogen is going to be struggling. So you can take all the DIM and the period gummies in the world, but if you're not looking at your microbiome, it's just going to be another Band-Aid. It's just going to be like the birth control pill. And then if we're looking at our detoxification organs, we have multiple organs. So our colon is going to be excreting stool, and that's how our body is getting rid of excess estrogen. So if we're not pooping and clearing out the colon, we're going to be dealing with an estrogen dominance. If our liver isn't functioning, our liver does over 500 functions in the body. So you can imagine if he's struggling, so are your body and so are your hormones, because it helps to filter hormones. Even your kidneys help to filter hormones. So if we're dealing with kidney issues, we're going to be seeing that detoxification slow down and hormonal imbalances pop up. So you can see how working on our gut and our detox organs are so important for our hormones that with our clients, 9 times out of 10, we don't even touch their sex hormones when they come to work with us and they have quote unquote hormonal acne, because we focus so heavily on their gut health, on their detoxification organs, supporting their insulin and their cortisol, which are, again, hormones. It's not just about our sex hormones. And we've fully cleared their skin, rebalanced their body, no more painful periods, they're sleeping better, their bloat's gone, and we didn't even touch their sex hormones. Because when you give your body the tools that it needs to open up pathways to release inflammation and toxicity, your hormones are able to self-regulate.
Well, yeah, I mean, you'll have to ask, these beautiful, powerful chemical messengers and system-wide regulators. I mean, they're doing the best they can with what they've got. And you always have to ask, well, it's not like hormones are deregulating themselves. Like something's driving that.
Yeah.
And there's a root cause. It's gut, it's the liver, it's blood glucose, it's stressors, it's, it's toxins, like you mentioned, xenoestrogens and other yucky, nasty toxins in our environment. These are the things that are actually driving the upheaval. Unless you're going through perimenopause and menopause, then, then
I'll give you that.
Sure. That is a zone of chaos in its own right. Hormones are deregulating, unfortunately, in general, but all of those other root causes are definitely contributing to the problem.
Yeah, for sure.
I love that. I agree with you 100%. But yeah, I definitely see that connection between estrogen dominance. Yeah, it's mind blowing to me when you broke it down, the whole like women are like, I'll just take DIM. I'm like, I always think I liken it to, we think about all those detox pathways of like DIM, just like the tub our kids are in, right?
Yes.
So you can obviously fill the tub too high and it'll spill over. However, if there's a clog in the pipe, or there's a clog in the sewage system, right? So you may take off the clog in the tub, but it doesn't mean you address any of the other pieces.
Exactly.
So a lot of people are just addressing the plug in the tub, which is the DIM, but they're not addressing the plug, literally the housing, plumbing, or the sewage plumbing out on the street. And all of those need to be addressed.
Yeah. And I DIM can be great in the right circumstance, but if we're just blindly taking DIM and we're not clearing out those pathways, it's not going to do us all that great.
Yeah. Well, if we're blindly taking out DIM and we still have blood sugar issues.
It's a whole situation.
Yeah. So that it's really one tiny piece of the puzzle. And that's not to say that some women aren't seeing some benefit to at least doing that. There's something to say about, actually, I want to pivot a little bit, because I know, like you had mentioned, and I talk about this all the time with skin issues, is that the skin piece is going to be one of the last things to address. And that is frustrating. Because you want the win. You want to experience a win out the gate, because that does build confidence and that does motivate you to keep going. Katie, is there any way that you do bring in wins for women?
Yes.
Maybe the other
100%.
wins that they see? Okay,
yes. We always tell them straight up, listen, your skin's going to be the last to clear. And it's like, we live in this instant society of Amazon Prime, Uber Eats. I want everything now. And the fact that I have to wait for my skin, are you kidding me? And I'm like, listen, your current health state isn't everything that's happened from conception in the womb up until this moment in time. So how can we expect just taking a probiotic and eating more salads to clear up our skin by the weekend? We're playing the long game here. This is what gives you long-term sustainable results. And sometimes it's going to take 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months, sometimes a year. So instead of focusing on solely on, oh my gosh, my skin, let's look at the non-skin wins, where some of the first shifts we ask our clients to look out for is, are you pooping every single day? Are you sleeping better? Are you having more energy? Are your periods, are you having less painful periods and less heavy bleeding? These are the markers we want you to be looking out for instead of solely focusing on our skin. Because when you start to not have to take a bottle of Advil every day or Advil for 3 days because your periods are so bad, like that's a massive win. When you're able to sleep through a night, when your moods are more stable, when you can get through the day without 3 cups of coffee, these are all huge wins that I really want you to focus on. And what we recommend our clients do is keep a little win journal, right? Keep a little journal in your phone or wherever it is and write those wins down, small or big. Like I ate a new vegetable today. I drank enough water, whatever that may be, because this is where you're really going to allow yourself to stay focused on the journey.
I love that. Those are some beautiful wins. And I think we can take those to the bank for sure. Okay. I want Katie, honey, where do we get to learn more? Where do we get to be able to work with you and your team?
You can check us out on Instagram, YouTube, website. It's all at Katie Stewart Wellness, all of the places. And then we also have a podcast, The Clear Skin Chronicles, that you can check us out on there. You'll find me. We're hanging out everywhere. And if you have questions, about the episode, you show up in my DMs. I'm happy to answer them.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, awesome. Well, Katie, honey, it's been such a pleasure.
Thank you.
I love that you are on this beautiful mission to help women have beautiful skin and to feel confident in their body and in their skin. And, I know that you guys get such incredible results. And so I just highly recommend if you are struggling with this or you have a friend or even a daughter that is struggling, this root cause approach is really where it's at.
Thank you. It was great. This was so fun. And I love everything that you have to share in your podcast, and everything you do is just so in line with what we do too.
Oh, thanks, honey. You too. Thank you so much for watching. Now, if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments. And if you are ready to learn more about perimenopause and how to navigate with a lot of ease and grace, be sure to subscribe to this channel so that you can join our community. Don't forget to share this video with someone that you love, that you know is navigating the perimenopause journey as well, because they deserve to feel their best too. See you in the next video.